Welcome. In this video, I'm going to be taking a very short time to explain a couple of tips that I wanted to know about Illustrator when I was starting working on it. I had a couple of problems myself. The most major ones were under alignment. There were a few things to fix my OCD. And then of course, the most basic problem that everybody has was colors. And so I've created this video, which is a compilation of 9 tips that I wish I knew when I started learning Illustrator. So let's get started. First one is on alignment. I already mentioned that I want to make sure that things are in order, and for that I have 3 tips for you over here.
Now, if you're working on a geometrical figure like this, you might just want a lot of alignment, and for that reason it might not be easy to just bring all of these things together. Now, why it might not be easy is because you do not have snap to grid pixel and point turn on. So if you do that, you now might be able to move these things together. They're slightly off, and I can just bring all of these things together. And once these points are set, I can see even in the outline mode that all of these are aligned completely. And this is good. Now, there's another way to do the same thing. Instead of bringing all of these things together one by one, you can hit Alt, Control and J or Option, Command and J, and it will bring up this new panel. Now, you can bring it up for both on the both axes, horizontal and vertical, and hit OK. Now, with this, all the points are finally synced. And now I can check it on all the different sides, maybe on this side as well. Hit Command Y just to see that the points are not aligned, and probably just bring them together using any of these 2 different methods. And done. Now, there might be cases where your anchor points are not aligned. There is an easy way of aligning all of these anchor points slightly differently. So the usual way would be to select all of these anchor points and hit the alignment options that you can always turn on from over here. And once you have the alignment options, I can hit the bring in the middle, but this ends up doing something like this. Now, there's a sort of a bug in Illustrator, I suppose, because if I do the same thing by selecting all of these anchor points together instead of selecting them one by one, and I hit this, it works perfectly. So this is an easy way of also aligning your anchor points. And while we are on the topic of alignment, let me tell you one other tip. If you want to align one object according to one other key object, for instance, I'd want to make sure that the light blue one is exactly in bottom alignment with the black blue box behind, I can select the black blue box as the key object. So when I select both of these, you can see that this happens. And if I hit the alignment right now, it might just end up shifting according to whatever it feels like. But you can choose to select a key object, which is this box over here, by clicking on this box again. And you can see that there is a nice outline that has popped up. Now, once that has been done, it basically means that the blue box over here, the dark blue box over here, is the key object and it will not move. And the only other object that could move is the light one. So with this, I can make sure that alignment is easy. Now I can do the same thing over here as well, selecting this box and aligning accordingly to how I want it. Now, a lot of times something might happen is when I'm creating or designing something, there are a lot of stray points that end up being generated, because if you can look something like this, there are a lot of very vague points that are left on the screen. Now, sometimes I would just make sure that all of these is cleaned up before passing it on to the client. So I select all of them, go to object, go to path, and make sure that I hit clean up. So once I do that, I can clean up using stray points, unpainted objects, and any empty text paths as well. That makes my life slightly easier by making sure that there is no stray content in my design. Did you know you can use mathematical operations within Illustrator? Yes, you can. So I have this small diagram that I was working on, and I want to make sure that all of these objects are in Fibonacci sequence. That is, this bar is at 23.6%, this one is at 38.2%, 78.6%, and so on of the original 100%. Now, thankfully, in this case, I have these boxes of about 100 pixels each. So the option is not too difficult to select and convert this into 236 size and get that exactly there. But small problem. The first one over here is the alignment. Now I can choose this alignment to happen in such a way that once I change the size, I can hit this particular point from here because I want it to get shorter in this size. So instead of doing it from here, I can just set it over here. So this helps me in making sure that the exact number and the exact alignment is consistent. So 236 for this one, but where is the mathematical operation over here? What I can do is I can make it 38.2% and write it exactly how it is supposed to be. So 38.2% and hit that, it will bring up exactly that number that I want. So mathematical operations over here is a easy way of making sure your designs are consistent. This one is supposed to be 50. So if I just do end up something like this, I can end up converting it back and then I write 50%. You like 61.8%, 61.8%. This is 78.6%, 78.6%. Now this way I can use not only percentages but also maths, which is plus, minus, divide and multiply. Now in a design like this, you might just want to change multiple fonts together. How can you do that? This is an easy way is to go to type and choose find or replace font. When you hit that, you'll be able to see what are the different fonts that have been used in the entire document and if there are multiple different places where the font has been used. So for instance, I can change all of these fonts together at once by selecting all these and choosing a slightly different font. So I end up changing it using light italics. I can find, I do not want to change this, move on to the next one, change, change and change. So this ends up changing the font very easily. Now similar to fonts, you might also want to change certain objects in togetherness. So to do that, you can open up one of these documents, open up into the, I've gone into the selection mode and I want to select all of these objects which have the green and the red lines. Now once I select one of them, I can go to select, go to same and appearance. That will end up selecting all the objects of similar type. Saves us a lot of time and now I can choose to change the settings if I want to. Here's another variation of how I can end up selecting all of these objects in the same time. So go inside these, select one of these designs. So I have this box and now I can go to select same appearance. And once I've selected this, I can go to select same and appearance. That way it will end up selecting all of those boxes in the background. Now that we are on this poster, let me tell you this something that I have been wanting to do. Over here, I'd want to change the color, this entire orange that has been used across multiple places, and I want to change the color in togetherness. So what I can do is select all of these, everything over here, go to recolor from here or recolor over here. Now this will be available only if you're using the paid version of Illustrator. Now, once I have, I can choose to recolor this particular object and I can go to advanced options. I can see this color wherever I want to change it and maybe now I can change it something like this. So there's an option of changing all of these colors in one go. Let's try that one more time. I have this entire design and instead of using green and red, I want to use probably a blue and a yellow. So I select all, hit recolor and wherever in the options over here I have green and red, I change that to yellow and purple. So for this color, select over here and choose the color that you want to set up here. So here's the yellow that I want and instead of the red one, we can go for a purple color. And that way you can end up changing all of the color in one go. Here's the last that I want to give you. If you're designing content like this, which might go on walls and posters, you might want to do a final proofing check in terms of visibility, depending on colors. Now to do that, I end up generally creating a new window from where I can see proofing. Maybe just align both of these together, something like this. And once I have it, I will end up changing the proofing setup or the screen mode. So when I have it proofing setup, go to customize and select is gray profile. So once I do that, I'll be able to see it in different colors so that I can see how vivid are the colors visible. Now I can change the colors over here and be able to understand whether those colors are visible on the screen or not. Now over here, I'm using a concept of values, which I'll be talking about in an upcoming video. So stay close and see and make sure that you understand that. So over here, I can now select all of these text options. So once I've selected this, go to select, same, font family and style, and that way I'll have selected all of the three different wild text directly in one go. And from now, I can change the appearance directly from the character panel. And once I have all of these wild text selected, I can go to the properties panel to change the color as I want. Maybe a little darker gray, something like this, so that the text can stand out from the behind. And that's it.
Well, these were a good start if I had known all of these back when I started working on Illustrator. Well, no time is even late, and maybe even in the future, I might be able to get some more tips out of the box for you guys. So make sure that you like this video if you really like these tips that I told you. Subscribe this so that you can follow up on the videos about colors, Illustrator, Photoshop, and couple of other video editing tools as well. And finally, share with something who you think might benefit from this. I will see you in another video.